time for Minutes to Skim It. Sorry, it's just me. It was a crazy busy day in the store today, and we have one of our staff members out. So we don't have a Miss Shanice, which is sad. But you have to listen to me, which is okay. I tried to read just as many books. I don't think I got that far. And whether it all leaks back out of my brain before I get to tell you guys is another thing, which is pretty funny. All right, everybody. You guys ready for some fun review? You guys see my cool shirt today? I want to be Steve. What a goofiness. If Janisa could tell what's sad about not getting to do today. All right, Spider Girl. Probably the best thing for me to do to tell you guys about is kind of like what kind of power she has. She got introduced in Spider Boy, so you might not have actually gotten to see how she does it. So in Spider Boy, she actually, if she can make eye contact is important for her. If she makes eye contact, then she can use any of your abilities. I don't know if this extends to normal people or not, because that would be really helpful, right? If you could kind of like use a person like the Matrix and download whatever you need. Look me in the eyeballs, person who can fly a helicopter. I want to fly a helicopter. So I don't know if her stuff works that way. But I do know that her stuff works on Spider Boy, which is she actually got some of his powers permanently. So she has like barbed webs that she can put out, but she still maintains all of her original abilities of peeking in someone's eyeballs and be able to take over their power. So this is her own standalone story. And it's kind of cool because it introduces her the way you like Miles, or the way you like the Spider-Boy's backstory, which is like you find out that she has a Triple B, that she actually has had a run-in, but it's been in an interesting way. She's had a run-in with this girl at her dojo, or actually she went to like an all cities meet, right? Kind of like Cardigan. She went to an all cities meet and defeated this girl who was like the most skilled person at her dojo. But now Spider Girl, which I think her name is Maka, M-A-K-A, actually joined the same dojo. Because she's just, I mean, she's a young girl and she still has lots of things to learn. So this is interesting. This is kind of like a cool age group for superheroing. When last we saw Marvel superheroes that were in the teenage years, they actually were forbidden from using any of their powers. There was like a whole storyline that was like that. So that is not in play right now as far as I remember. I think that everything's gone kind of back to post-Krakoa. Everyone's superhero responsibly, I guess. So anyway, this one's great. If you're reading everything Spider, I don't know that this ties in 100% like in an important way to all the other stuff that's running right now. I think it's just a great little slice of its own storyline. Great for jumping in here because it really does give you everything you need to know about her. And it has some kind of hooky surprises in this. So okay, fun fact. I don't know a bit about the Runaways, but I enjoyed this book. I think that there was a show, right? Is there a show based on this? I know there's a dinosaur person that's part of or just straight up dinosaur that's part of their team. This feels like the Runaways haven't been together in a while. One of their members has been thrown into the future or lost to them somehow. And so this is them kind of figuring out a new way to hang out and be part of each other's lives, which kind of is all pretty sweet, honestly. But the big part of this storyline, which ties it to the One World Under Doom, is the beginning of the book kind of has, I guess, Doom proper saying, okay, I'm going to recall all of the Doom bots that are like defunct Doom bots that I didn't really care about before. So like if one had like some kind of critical error and was broken and someone was, for example, using it as like a plow in their fields. I don't know how you do that, but there is one in this book. Then he was like, I need to recall all of these kind of like pieces of me back to me. So that's kind of like how the story starts as a premise. Then you get to meet the Runaways, which I didn't realize that name was really very serious, that they were kind of like running away from their lives and any other superhero team, right? They just kind of found each other. But as you see on the front cover there's a Doombot with them who he has a specific number. I don't remember it. It's like one of those 5J32 whatevers. He, at some point in the past, obviously kind of got hooked up with them. And I think it might have a reference to when this happens, but I cannot remember for the life of me which book it was in that it happened. But this one, they have this like really cool existential discussion with like, what's your name, Doombot? And he says, and they're basically, if you say my name is Doom, then we can't talk to you anymore. And he was like, I am Doom. So he still identifies as being fully Doom, but he's making self choices. He like makes them dinner, which I guess he makes them goulash every night, but somehow makes it different and interesting every night, as according to them. So this is kind of a sweet interaction between them, but then also, you know that as Doom is recalling all of his Doombots, eventually he's going to get to this guy. And then there's going to be some interestingness to that, right? Is he going to go willingly? Is there going to be a fight? Will the rest of the Runaways say, heck no, you can't go, even if he decides he really wants to go? It's a very interesting concept, honestly. Addressing how autonomous is a Doombot? Are they autonomous at all? Do they make their own thought processes and decisions? It's kind of cool, honestly. They seem to operate on their own, but do they really? It's a cool start. Oh, I made a review for this when I came back from Comics Pro, I think, I got handed a very, very advanced copy of this. This is so sweet. This is the sweetest little book, but also kind of like post-apocalyptic, scary concept. So there are essentially two characters in this whole book. One is this little girl you see on the front. Unknown age. My guess is like 12. They don't ever say, really. And her little stuffed turtle, who walks and talks and all those things, but I think it's pretty clear that it's not really an alive plush turtle. It's just how she is kind of making it through the fact that there is nobody else on it looks like it's probably Earth post this terrible thing. And the terrible thing is that there is acid rain. And the acid rain will dissolve anything that isn't covered with plastic. So there's like flashbacks in this where you see her dad cover their whole house in like giant plastic tarps. And so he's not in the picture for the book. So you don't know what has happened to him and when. I'm sure that's going to be part of the storyline. But it's interesting to see her living her life, making rationing choices, how often the rain comes and how she has to like be prepared all the time for covering up, what the opinion of her turtle is about such things. And then the very end of this book, there's like a big surprise that like there really is something in the rain. And that's really cool. But I like the colorways of this book. It's all this kind of really cool pastel, very soft look, just like this. So this is Red 5. Red 5 is a company that's local to me, but they're a bigger independent company. They're not like super indies. They always have put out really great things. trying to think what their most famous thing that's come out from them. Big red robot, big guy, big red. I can't remember the name of the robot one, but Atomic Robo. Thank you. Duh. Atomic Robo was one of their big titles, but they've done a ton of stuff that's their own very great stuff that's actually made it onto at least on the small screen stuff. There was a story that came out of a book that they did called The Rift, and that was adapted and put into Amazing Tales or something. There was one of those on Amazon. And then currently, like we're really close to it being released, there's one called Afterburn, and that stars I can't remember his name. The guy that plays Drax. It's him and some other people you'll really recognize. And that one's really cool. Think of Afterburn's definitely has fire people in it, but it's not what you're thinking. So definitely put that on your radar. Right now, if you wanted to read what it's all about, you should be able to find a copy of Afterburn at your local comic shop, but it probably won't last very long once people realize what's going on and when it comes out. In my experience, things that, Kulipari was definitely Red 5, yes. And that one's a Netflix show. So you're going to go and watch something they've already made. Thank you, Batista. Thank you, Dave Batista. I knew it would come to me eventually if someone told me. Kulipari is a great animated show that's had more than 2 seasons, probably. It's about warrior frogs, in the vein of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, less goofy, I'd say. And then the other creatures that are in it are things like scorpions and that kind of stuff that are like, if you like Chima or any of those kinds of shows, you will love it. I really liked it. I'm an adult. I didn't have any kids when I started watching that show, and it's really cool. And there's graphic novels that go along with it. So there's a ton of stuff that they've done that you may not know is them, but is them. All right. There was a ton of number ones this week for Marvel. I will pre-tell you that I may not know all the super details about all of them, because some of them I had to read just bits of them because there's some of them like huge books. This one was a normal sized book, so I totally read this one. So this is Bucky trying to put together a team. And it's kind of funny because he one by one approaches the team members that he wants. And they basically say, we're not doing the team thing with you anymore. We don't want to do that. No, thank you. But he manages to gather them together nonetheless. X-23 is the ones that has just like the 2 claws, right? Super vicious? I believe so. I know that she's in that, whoever the person is with the two doubles things. I always get them confused. That character in NYX, is that the same person? Sam Humphries. Oh yeah. So the kind of crazy weird twist about this is that they end up about 3/4 of the way through the book, I think. They end up seeing, it doesn't feel like it's a rift in time. Anyway, they end up seeing other crazy weird versions of themselves that are just like, oh, what in the heck is going on? Okay, Laura is the same girl. Okay, good, thank you. And so I'm not really 100% sure what's going on there, but this is the first appearance of the New Avengers team. And if I'm getting the right book, this one is also the first appearance of a big bad guy team. Here, I actually have a way to confirm that. Give me 2 seconds and I'll pull it up. Oh, no, stop doing that. You know, when you poke at something and it's not the right thing you want. Okay, here we go. It is. Nope. Yes. So this one is the first new lineup and the first team appearance of a team called, and so here's the bad guy team, is called the Killuminati. So that was a lot of fun. So I like it. The art style is pretty much what you get on the front cover. So everyone's really pretty. There's some hooking up in this book. which I was not expecting because it's they don't show nudity, but it's like they actually show them in bed together with just like sheets covering up the bits. So I was really surprised at that. I don't know what the rating is. It's got to be T plus. And then there is a lot of like really, Marvel recently has definitely ramped up their more bloody fighting. They used to hide those kinds of things behind like the Max label or Red Band, but this is like full on, Laura stabbing someone in the face and then through the foot, and then all kinds of like decapitations, and it's real. If you like the cool bloody violence, this new Avengers team is for you. All right, so here we go. The 2 giant size I have on my list for this week, mostly because I wanted to remind you that the giant size books aren't just the main book, which I did not read the main book for this one. This one has books parts at the end. There's little stories, and those stories are becoming more and more like clear to be tied into some kind of bigger storyline or introducing new characters. This one doesn't appear to have any first appearances in it, but this one, the Spider-Man, the giant size Amazing Spider-Man, will. So this one also has the backup story, and this one is Phoenix related, so it doesn't like go off book and be like, what's this about? So, and as far as I remember about all the giant sizes, the through line is Miss Marvel. So I know you've seen that in the last one. I can't remember what last week's giant size was, but it was really good. I actually read that one. And this one, obviously, has her as a key component. So, and, Miss Marvel is getting more and more grown up, less like her little kid version of herself. So I think they're going to put her in a little more danger, make her a little more important storylines, like really flex her muscles for her ability. So think about grabbing up the giant sizes. I feel like they're ones that stores are likely to order in smaller amounts, as I don't feel like they're tied to any big storyline unless they've been paying attention to what they're, we have meetings every month with our representative with PRH, and they kind of tell us what to have heads up for, which is very nice because then we can order appropriately and make sure we have enough for you guys. And so I hope your LCS is able to have those kinds of meetings too. And so that's why I can say this is like when we're talking about everyone wants me to go back to saying what pointy books are. This is a pointy book. All of the giant sizes will be later on when people want to go back and find out, okay, how does this tie to what's coming next? So now you know the things. Oh my gosh. Okay, so blood type. This is part of the really cool Oni Press EC book series. I feel like this one, I know the ones are really adult, but this one feels even more so. So this one follows this girl who's on the front cover. So not to say, that'd be good love. Yep. This is definitely a triple B book. The kind of like the storyline they tell often for Dracula, where, okay, Dracula was on a boat from London, and when he come back, makes it to the New World, he's killed everyone on the boat, and then it moves on from there. That is kind of how this storyline starts. Hey, Kenneth. I didn't know you were from Virginia. That's a beautiful place. In this case, she's not named Vlad Dracul or any of those things. So it's not, I don't think it has anything to do with that, but it definitely does start out with her catching a ride on a boat. And it's interesting to hear her internal dialogue for how she's going to go about it. It's very clear from the beginning that she's a vampire. Yeah, the last voyage of the Demeter. But yeah, this isn't that, but it does have that first opening, kind of like, I'm going to shack up with the captain because the captain kind of like makes everyone else in the boat behave. because it's bad luck to have a woman on the boat. I don't know if you start with a woman whether it matters, but for some reason back in old sailor lore, having a girl on the boat was a bad thing, probably because we weren't fought over, honestly, not for any other reason. But in this one, she uses it a way to hide by having the captain kind of like protect her as she, takes out the rest of the ship. And it's interesting to see her like when she makes decisions about like, I was going to wait for him until last. Well, I don't know. You're getting your stories mixed up. So this one is, I'm going to leave you with the back half of the book to really enjoy this. I like the character. She's well written. You do get a whole bunch of internal dialogue for her, so you understand her, like the why she's doing things, how she's inconstant in her decision making. And it's a perfect EC book. If you like some good bloods, you like good bad girls, this is totally cool. Yes. I definitely want to see that movie because I love everything from that universe. So put this one on your list. All right, here's the one I was talking about, the giant size, amazing Spider-Man book. This one is kind of a crazy start. Actually, I'm going to open it up so I can get you, I'm not going to tell you anything too crazy. Ooh, distracting you in the chat to try to break your streak. Oh no! Spoiled again. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, yeah, this does. This all starts with Spidey fighting in the city, and there is something crazy that happens. You end up with it's a Mysterio-driven beginning, but it ends up with a Sinister 69. By the way, this is written by Kevin Smith. So if you like great Marvel storyline, but with a lot of kind of like adult humor, I guess, you're going to see some things you wouldn't normally think about seeing for these characters. This one is a heck of a lot of fun. He always has really great dialogue. We are Eddie. You guys. And then this one has its backup story. So this one actually this backup story ties to a backup story from last week, I think. It's called, this one's the prelude to the new dimension. And this one focuses in on Kid Venom, which is, Kid Venom has, I think her symbiote's called Clinter. But yeah, that one is a really cool storyline. Kid Venom, I think, showed up maybe for the first time in the actual Kid Venom book, which was a little mini-series book, but maybe showed up in some kind of like, first appearance film. But I like her. She looks like mostly like black and blue with a ponytail. Do you guys remember this one? She looks like cracked up rocks. So that one's a really, really cool book. So this one actually, let me see, I can tell you who, maybe I'll give you the first appearance for this one. Oh, so you got two things. In the main storyline, you get the first appearance of Rapid, which is a new character. I cannot remember for the life of me who Rapid is. Sounds like a speedster. But then I can't spoil it. So there is a big thing that happens with the Kid Venom character in that secondary story. So hello, Nick. How are you doing today? It's not the Nick you think. So anyway, think about adding giant size. They're really gigantic books. The price point isn't all that crazy for how much reading and art you get to have with them. So think about picking up this cool Kevin Smith book. Death of the Silver Surfer. Oh my words. Sorry, I'm going to see if this was... Okay, no, okay. So, Death of the Silver Surfer. I'm gonna pull it open because that was one of the earliest ones I read. So making sure I'm not mixing them up. That's the problem with reading a whole bunch of Marvel. Sometimes they tie together and you're like, uh-oh. Okay. Oh, this is written by Greg Pak. This is interesting. This one starts out, so the Silver Surfer shows up in response to a soldier who's been critically injured in some kind of war, who basically says that he's dying, please save him. He was in the, you see in the scene that there's another person that he's had to kill, and he's like, I had to, it was him or me. And so the surfer is kind of weighing this. And in between them, there's this the art is just to die for gorgeous, by the way. There is a beetle that's turned upside down. And so the storyline all kind of intertwines those things so that you think that what's happening is the Silver Surfer talking to this dying fellow about whether he's worthy of saving or could be saved or whatever. Or is it the dead guy that they're talking to? Or is it about the beetle? Or whatever. It's kind of it's interesting because Norrin sometimes doesn't think the same way we do about stuff, as you can imagine. So this ends up being a really great story about Norrin. How much can I tell you? Big ol' fightings, and you feel like he can't be injured, but he does. He can be, obviously. This is the death of Silver Surfer. It does not happen in this first issue, by the way, so I'm not going to spoil anything for you. But it's really a great, rich story. Especially if you've been missing Norrin, you'll like this book. If you like Galactus and stories with Galactus in it, he's less of a character for this, but mention is part of it. So think about adding this, because even if you have regular Silver Surfer on your polls, your local comic shop might not know to add this one for you. So think about reminding them, give them a little call tonight to make sure you get it in your box so you don't have to miss anything. Oh my gosh, this one is so good. Thank goodness for this book, because between reading superhero books and superhero books, I needed something else. I liked the vampire book because it gave me a little bit of okay, I need a break, because these things kind of meld together if you read them all right back to back. This one was awesome. So this is about the girl that's right there in the center. You can see that she's pretty muscly and all tatted up. That's because, or maybe she always was, she's actually getting released from prison when you meet her. Very beginning of the story. The story is about her wanting to go and find her dad, who she hasn't heard from in a long time. She's written him letters and things. Nothing's really happened from prison. So you really don't know what their kind of relationship was before she went to jail. I can't even remember if they told us why she went to jail or how long she's been in jail. All you know is that when she finds somebody that knows her dad, he basically says, I know that you were expecting to see your car when you got out of prison, but that thing just fell apart on us. Your dad left you his car. And she knew something was up because her dad's car was a thing that was really important to him. So anyway, she gets kind of on this, she has to go to a town, and kind of the town seems really odd. The people in it act very bizarre-y. We'll say cultish even. And I like these kinds of books. I feel like there's another book that I've read in the last 5 years that was kind of like that. People going back to their hometown or the town where their family's from, only to find that everything is not copacetic. Things are not the way they seem. So Blue Palo Verde is the very beginning of this. You know that Mad Cave has been really great, right? Super good. And Ray Fox is amazing. So this one reads like it's gonna be maybe Midsommar kind of esque. Although I don't see anything supernatural yet. It could go there. But anyway, I like the main character. She's like, they've drawn her with like, to make her proportionally seem huge. So she has really long arms and really broad shoulders. And I don't know. She looks like she's probably equal to the task whenever the poop goes down. So I'm excited to see what happens. They leave it kind of in a good place. Yeah. Yeah, Triple B. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Okay. Avengers Academy. So there have been a lot of characters that have been introduced through recent books that are kind of an interesting meld together if you were going to put them together as a team. Like, I think that Captain America was introduced in one of the Marvel Voices books, as I remember it. Like, I think that they introduced a bunch of them, kind of like one every month for a while. And let me see if I can find this guy's name for you. Get his name. Because there's like an introductory page. Is Hazmat? Ooh, I don't know. Let me look here. It definitely has Lunella. You definitely get the Kid Juggernaut. You definitely get the Red Goblin, who's Normie Osborn. I remember all of those guys. Let me see if there's other ones that I can't remember here. Okay, so Kid Juggernaut, Captain America of the Railways is the Captain America. That's what he's called. And he's Aaron Fisher. It says he is a defender of the disadvantaged with energy manipulation powers that make him a living shield. That's kind of a cool power. And then the one, can you see her on the cover there? Oh, the one in the black outfit down there with the sword, that's Bloodline, Brielle Brooks. So she's a daywalker. You got Moon Girl, who's obviously very smart, psychic connection with that Devil Dinosaur. Red Goblin, who is Normie Osborn, symbiote bonded with Rascal. And then the girl who's jumping there in the blue coat and the yellow pants is Escapade, Sheila Sexton. Says that she's a mutant with unpredictable ability to instantly switch places, possessions, and her ability with others. Also has cool gadgets. So I like the team a lot because they're young. They're kind of like, they haven't been introduced as a team anywhere, I don't think yet. And they do make a really cool melding mix. And at the very end of the book, you do get another introduction of a bad guy team. And I don't think any of the bad guy team has been around yet. So I think all that's new. So if you like first appearances, this is the first appearances of the new Avengers Academy. This is the first appearance of bad guys. And it's a fun read, honestly. I really thought it was cool. Oh, I've been waiting a long time for this. So how many of you guys watched Umbrella Academy all the way to the end, even that torturous last episode? That the last season kind of went on and on and on and on. And the last episode was like, hey man, they're going to die, but they're going to make it last like a whole hour. So I'm sure it can't be spoilery to you guys. The Umbrella Academy ended with lots of death, but it was the point was that the universe kept ending, but it was because of them. It was because of them. So, okay. So if you don't know anything about the Umbrella Academy, so on a single day in the past, there were 14 kids born from two parents or to mothers that were not previously pregnant. So they just like spontaneously. Oh yeah. Okay. The plan B. Oh, plan B, not Sparrow Academy. Sorry. And then the Sparrow Academy were the kids that were the second 7. So the first 7, everybody knew about. They were the Umbrella Academy. They were raised in public by Hargreaves. And then the rest of these kids, the Sparrow Academy, were raised in secret and included like crazy characters. Like there's like weird gelatinous floating, glowy cube. Love that character. And so they're all the powers are really, really cool for both of these kids groups. But just imagine being raised in the worst possible adult supervision situation in which he was basically using them as experiments. And I don't know how any of these kids ended up being even halfway normal. It's just beyond me. So this is so funny because they've got them on a plane. This one actually does take place partially on a plane and partially going back in time and kind of like revisiting how those characters came about. And then it has them finally getting to interact with each other. So if you have never tried Umbrella Academy, this is a great introduction to all the characters. It's crazy art. It is the original team that worked on the original series. It is not like Lost. Nope. Not like Lost. This is just full-on battles with crazy powers. It's really, really cool. So yeah. So you're not gonna. If you're looking for the characters the way that they are portrayed in the show, you're not going to see the same characters. So they are the same names and all that stuff, but the way they're portrayed in the book is much different. They made some design choices for the show that's different. So you can enjoy this for its own way. Yep. Of My Chemical Romance. That's right. Okay, I love this book way more than anyone has a right to love a book based on a character that I haven't had really any contact with. I think I read one Trinity book long ago, but hey, the one thing you need to know about this book is it's Tom King, and you've learned to trust Tom King to write really great stories, right? Have you leaned into the fact that no matter what they give him, he will make it the best? I sure hope that you've learned that and are accepting that. So this book starts with the very youngest version of Trinity. Little kid. When last you saw her, she was in some other DC book. I can't remember. And all of the younger characters that are like John, Kent, and I can't remember, maybe Jason. I can't remember. All the younger ones basically were babysitting her. So she is daughter to, I think, Diana, but she's come about in an interesting way. Yes, and she loses a corgi, so she has a super corgi. Lizzie Prince, thank you. She loses her corgi, and then what's cool about the story is you meet this other character who he's been cursed to witness the end of many, many universes or worlds. And he really, really is sad, of course, and desperately doesn't want to do it anymore. If that was the thing you did all the time, right? And during this, she loses her corgi, is looking around, but finds him. Now think of this, she's a little girl, right? And she sees him, and instead of trying to, I don't know, keep looking for the dog, she's like, oh, I need to help you. So I'm going to make you, my friends tell me that I should try to make you happy. If you're sad, I should try to make you happy. So I'm going to tell you a story to help distract you. So she tells this long story about an adventure she has in which so she can travel through time. I don't know if you know this or not. Mostly her older self. So her older self can come back. So her few years older self comes back because she knows that her younger self is sad because she lost her corgi. But that's not the only one that comes back. There's another one that comes back to check on that one to make sure they don't mess anything up for the future or whatever. And there's this whole like through line where like they don't really worry about the youngest version of themselves because clearly that youngest person has survived long enough to make the middle-aged one and the little bit the teenager one. So, but the little girl says the silliest, most funny things. Like, wait till you see how she like the sad guy who is stuck witnessing the ends of all things. He tells her his name and she misunderstands it to be Piranha. I think his name is Pariah. So she calls him Piranha the rest of the book until he's just like, fine, I'm going to say Piranha. And she says, yo, your name is Pariah. So adorable. And because of the time travel thing, there is something that gets really, really mixed up in this book, which is so fun. You guys, I cannot wait for you to see this. If you're a doggo lover, you just got to buy this book. Because not only does it have a bunch of really cute doggies that you get to like see, it's everything about it, especially when Lizzie, as a little girl, throws a fit. And in progressive pages, it's more and more pitiful. Like when kids get like snot bubbles, or they'll lay it on the ground. Oh, it's so adorable. This is a fun book. You should get this one just because I said to. And it's Tom King. It's still his name, probably. You know what's interesting? Someone actually came in and had a picture of this book today on their phone and asked me if we had it. And because of the cover artist, I thought it was a different book. I did not realize. I saw that it was Batman, or Robin and Batman, but I was looking for Batman and Robin, the other series that came out. This is a different book. Robin and Batman, Jason Todd. This is literally Jason Todd early on with Batman, them trying to figure out how to interact with each other. Jason does not listen very well when Bruce tells him to like, hey, you need to stick with me. You're still learning. There's situations you can't handle. And you know Jason, he's kind of a butt. He's a big, there's stuff that's not quite right with him, right? Dick was different. Dick was special. Jason's special in a different way. So we all know what happens with Jason later, so you know. But this is great, beautiful art. All the art is, I think this is Dustin Nguyen. And there's a bad guy that I don't ever remember seeing before that is introduced. They have a lot of back and forth. Robin like kind of fails at catching him, early in the issue, but that comes back to haunt him later on in the book. Alfred and Batman's talk about Jason, well, you know, Jason's in a different room, is very interesting and eye-opening. All of the Batman Robin books, like Batman Robin Year One, Batman Robin the regular series, have done so well in our store that we don't have hardly anything in stock anymore because people have heard that they're great and they come and pick them up. So I feel like this one's going to be in the same vein. It's also a spectacular place if you are new to the characters and like, I don't know any of these guys. I know you know Batman, but I mean, you don't know Jason maybe and how he was early on. Or if you have someone in your life that you're like, I just want them to be introduced to this character. This is a perfect kind of like teen introduction to these characters. Or in this case, the young lady that came in was looking for is like a college age girl that she was just starting in comic books. So she wanted this one and she was looking for Young Justice, which was, you can't really get those graphic novels. You just happen to have one of them that she was looking for. So I think it's awesome that people are just joining comic books at every age. Doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. There is something out there for you. And I'm real happy about that. Oh, man. Okay. Ooh, I can't even, y'all, with Absolute Batman. Every single issue, I think to myself, they're going to have just a regular issue, right? Where there's not high stakes. We don't get a brand new character. There's not a new weapon. There's not something that we're just going to have a mundane issue. But no, this is the beginning of a new storyline, according to Snyder's like opening page. We got introduced to Bane in number 8. But I can't remember how much we got to see of him. Y'all, this is like, if you watch Jack Reacher, if you watch this last season, first time you see the even huger guy that shows up in the show and you're like, man, the first time Reacher gets punched in the face by him, you're like, this is not a fair fight. Paulie! Paulie is the best. Yep. Basically, that manga and you're here for it. Yep. So, okay, you get to see. I mean, if you guys are like the least bit squeamish, there might be some look away moments in this book because, yeah, there's some real head smashy moments. And I won't tell you what the big reveal is for Bane, but it's pretty insane. And there are some other really cool moments in this. You get to see more Batman interacting with his childhood friends, which are characters that serve different purposes in the main universe, but for purposes of this universe, he's got them as close friends, which is kind of like a Oswald Copperpot, who he calls Oz, is part of his friends group, right? That's kind of weird, but they all make sense here. What else gets revealed? There are 2 new first appearances from characters that are very important in the main universe. You get to see how they appear here. It gets, every time they introduce something, it's so creative to me that I'm like, I would have never thought of using that character in that way. It's so surprising and fresh. It doesn't feel forced. It feels amazing. Like, how in the world did they think of hidden underground places that are called Arkham? So that we still have Arkham, but it's not that place anymore. It's just Arkham. Secret underground. Who knows what's going on down there? Batman in this one goes to break into it. He's got his own group of, like, I don't know, prep people. You still have my favorite character. It's like when you get introduced to Alfred as like a super secret agent, you're like, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to be real with you. Just start adding absolute everything to your pull boxes. I think this week we get restocks on some print of number 4, maybe? No, Preston. Nothing so mundane as all that. They're way cooler than that. They thought, Snyder thought way outside the box for what's going on here. But if you also were disappointed in the version of Bane we got for the movies, where there was no Venom and no powering up or any of those things, it was just like he was just smart and kind of a beefy guy, you're going to be like real happy to go back to the like 90s view of what could happen if you had, stuff to like pump into your body. Bane Connery, what? Nope. No. You're going to keep on culling things and they're keep on putting out more awesome good stuff, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, we've got 10 minutes. Good. I was going to open up this special package I got from Zach Kaplan, who is making currently Dark Empty Void, Kill All Immortals, and it's got a thing called Masterminds. He likes to send me cool stuff. So thanks, Zach. Zach's the best. I've known Zach for many, many years. I'm trying to remember what book I met him on. Maybe Eclipse. By the way, you should go buy Eclipse because that's an amazing book series, which involves some kind of crazy catastrophic thing that makes the sun like closer to the earth, so you can't go outside. There's a group of people that have to go outside during the day to like make maintenance happen because everyone's living underground. And while they're out, they actually see a murder has happened outside, which is crazy because no one can be outside unless they're in a cool suit, and they know who has all the cool suits at all time. And they see a mysterious character above ground who is, they call the albino, I think, who's just pure white and can actually be outside without melting immediately. And Port of Earth is his too. I could go on and on about his stuff. Okay. It says, I've got 3 killer comic series coming your way. Dark Horse's Masterminds is a brand new noir thriller adventure out this August that invites you to play a game of wits if you're smart enough to survive. Challenge accepted. Mad Cave's Dark Empty Void sucks 5 issues of chilling cosmic horror to a trade paperback in September. And Dark Horse's hit phenomenon Kill All Immortals returns this October for more axe-flying John Wick-style action with your favorite immortal Viking, Frey Asphalt. And because you're awesome, enjoy these side posters for your shop. Share these flyers with your readers and get ready for dangerously fun comics. Zach. All right, what do we got? There's a cool Dark Empty Boy. Give me a bunch of these things to hand out. I'm sure your local comic shop probably gets them too. I'll show you what the posters look like because I like his posters. There's the Secret Society Masterminds. World's Smartest Secret Society invites you to play a game. Are you smart enough to win? Welcome to Masterminds. Great asphalt, yeah. Absolutely. What's the one with a girl on it? The one that's right there? That is Grimm Fairy Tales Wonderland #1. Available on my show after this show. And there's Kill All Immortals, which was a bloody good fun. Thanks, Zach. You're the best. I'll put these posters up and get people all excited about those bookses. Hey, John. Sorry I don't have as much today to show you. I had a big box opening last week. If you want me to open stuff on my show, just send it to me and I'll open it up. Got a book series that you're doing or you love or whatever. Also, if you're going to go hit your local comic shop this week, make sure you use the zip code. You might be traveling for vacation. It's a perfect time to go and try out someone else's comic book store. You can still use comicshoplocator.com. As far as I know, that still works. If you're following all the Diamond drama, God love you, man. I have to like time out on that. I'm just like, I just got to do my job and stop worrying about all those crazy things. Everyone's still getting their comics. But if you see a delay in your distillery books, it's because they changed distributors and are resoliciting some of their stuff. So don't get mad at your local comic shop. If you see a delay in Dynamite books or other small press books, it's because of the move over and delay of printing of a bunch of stuff. And what else might be different? Keen Spot. The Keen Spot books, especially you guys are getting Monsters, those from their new distributor only allow to have 4 covers. So you really can only get A, B, C, and D. There are other covers that are available. If you want those, ask your local comic shop if they will buy them for you from Keen Spot directly if you really want them. They will do that for you if you tell them. And Titan, Titan, I think they're in the same boat. They're moving over to new distribution, and it's messed up with their distribution release schedule a lot. So I say give it 6 months. 6 months or so, everyone will be reconfigured to where they're going to be distributed from. There's a new distributor for small press that's popped up called Philco. And so comics will survive. We always find a way, just like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. Rawr. What Howard the Duck is that? That is a number 11 variant cover from Chip Zdarsky. That's Chip Zdarsky. Hitseeker, no! All right, so stick around. I think Wonderland is on next. They do a really fun new comic walk around show. They usually have some fun chaos for you guys. You guys are really, really go and enjoy that show. Or if you want to have 2 screens on and you want to watch my new comic book show, I'll be selling new comic books next and all this stuff on the wall after I'm done with the new comic books. You can buy from Keen Spot directly. Absolutely, John. You can. But you do want to support your local comic shop if you have one, and you can, because they literally rely on you to survive. So, Titan, I don't know. I think that most of the companies are restricting them to 4 covers from the company. So that's also what you're going to see as a change, maybe a little bit from Dynamite, that they're going to have to figure that out. But I'm sure they'll figure out a way to get you all their amazing covers, because I haven't seen a Dynamite cover I haven't liked. So it's fun to have choices. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here. I will be back next week with Shanice, unless there's some other chaos that happens. I'm really glad the alarm wasn't going on today, because yesterday the alarm went off for like 4 hours, and we finally had to close the store. It was just a fire alarm glitch. Thank you guys so much for all of you being here, and thanks to Jay for running the show. I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Join the party. Head over to our Linktree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.